Vamos ver se eu consigo vir aqui. Consigo. Não vim aqui, né, da outra vez. Ah, quem que é esse aqui? Aqui não dava pra eu ver antes.
This short, blustery man reminds you vaguely of President Roosevelt.
Ah, tá, é o Archibald. O negócio tá piscando aqui.
Art is work by Fra Roberto Glissoni, painted in 1492, commissioned by Queen Isabella to keep him busy finding a new way to paint instead of discovering the new world, so that Christopher Columbus could do it instead.
Sacanagem.
One of the many paintings in Michelangelo's Battle of the Nudes series.
Battle of the Nerds.
One of the
Okay.
Two Brothers Drinking in a Tavern by Rick Morgan, Dutch master, 1444. It's one of seeming billions of ballerina sculptures that were made by Dagger, who was something of a ballerina fancier. A fine example of neo-quasi-Italian Renaissance sculpture by Alberto Ravioli. Sculpted in 1525, the humanoid statue is called, appropriately enough, Ruminations on Death and Dismemberment.
Nossa.
Trouble on Two Legs by
Eita.
Dennis Lewis, date unknown.
Uma cabecinha
Painting
ali.
discovered in an attic near Bordeaux, France, hidden behind a case of chocolate. Cart Before the Horse by Suspeito live in Goudoni, 1481. Portrait of a Young Man by Marcello Fleming, Italian master, 1550. Musings on Cyberspace by John Wentworth, the Flemish master, painted in
Cyberspace.
1533.
Que é isso aqui?
A typical light-hearted painting by anonymous Bosch called A Heartwarming Story, depicting dead humans being tormented by skeletons and demons in hell. A typical light-hearted... You see a short... Good evening, Dr. Care.
Good evening, Miss Bow.
Good evening. Good evening.
Eles estão super de boa. Eles estão super felizes com a
The
morte.
oil paint on the canvas is old and cracked, but you can still see the characteristic brush strokes of anonymous Bosch, who painted with human bones instead of brushes.
Deixa eu graduar então.
You may
Tá. Mas tá
a
brilhando
marble
ali.
bench, provided so that patrons can sit and ponder.
Mas tá brilhando esse negócio aqui.
The oil paint, the oil.
Aí, ó. Consegui clicar. Que isso? Ah.
This skeleton key is inscribed with eerily articulated markings, the weird orthography of a long dead tongue. It offers no clue as to what it unlocks. Pandora's box, perhaps?
Mas como é que ele tá preso na pintura? Tipo, tá grudado?
Jeepers! The shiny key on the painting even feels real, probably because it is. Although you have a natural attraction to shiny objects, this one is firmly attached to the painting and obviously can't be removed by hand.
Eu preciso pegar alguma coisa pra tirar isso daqui. Estranho. Estranho. Vou conversar com eles. Agora eu tenho o nome deles. Ernie Leach. Ernie Leach? Ah, Ernie Leach acho que é o cara que conversou comigo, que trabalha aqui, eu acho. Bom, perguntar desse cara, né? Acabou de morrer.
Dr. Carter's demise was truly a loss to us all, despite his pushy, overinflated, headline-grabbing ego. At least he completed his work on the Ancient Egypt exhibit before he passed on. Dedicated chap, I'll say that for him.
Any idea who might have wanted to kill him?
The man had enemies crawling out of the woodwork, Miss Bow. Practically everyone's a suspect, if you ask me.
Everyone? Including you?
Ixi, se
Well,
denunciou, hein?
perhaps I should say everyone except myself, since I was at the fundraising event when Dr. Carter was taken from us. Terrible thing, really.
E você tem um álibi. Acho bom ter Eu acho que é bem provável que foi o Tooth Smith. Mas como é que escreve o nome do Tooth? Eu acho que não é Tooth. Ele escreve de outra forma, né?
What a tiresome fellow. I take quite a narrow view of fanaticism.
E a nossa queridinha Yvette?
I really haven't had much interaction with Miss Delacroix. Well, of course, she is my assistant. So I guess I should correct myself and say that I do have interaction with her. But I don't know her very well, really.
Tá se denunciando aí, né, doutor? Tá meio complicado.
Oh, he's a good enough chap for a law enforcement peon.
Ixi. Pipins não te perde. Uma pergunta da medalha.
Ah, yes. You'll see that symbol throughout our Egyptian exhibit. It seems to be a staple of ancient Egyptian theology and philosophy.
O Nagir gostava da religião, né?
Miss Bow, I read for pleasure. I can't imagine Dr. Carter would possibly have written anything personal that I would find the least bit interesting.
Eu perguntei disso aqui, perguntei pra ele.
Egyptology is all quite the fashion now, Miss Bow, but it's been a serious science for many years. I can recommend a number of fine books if you're interested.
Vamos ver só com a madame aqui agora.
He was a rather good-looking fellow, don't you think? Of course, I was at the party when he died, surrounded by witnesses. But I've already told Mr. O'Reilly about all that.
Ixi, tá na defensiva por quê? Calma, só tô perguntando. Uma pergunta super simples. Eu tô achando que esse Tooth escreve de outro jeito, deve ser com P. Eu acho.
I bore rather easily, dear girl. Do let's move on to another subject,
Odeio essa Yvette. Com toda razão, né? E esse Wolf aqui?
I bore rather easily, dear.
Tá. Vamos ver.
I'm really very busy, Miss Bow.
Tá, eu já tô repetindo questões, não querem falar de novo. E o Enk? Não é dela.
Why isn't that one of those darling little Egyptian thingies?
Esses dois não mataram, com certeza não. Não foram eles que mataram. Eu tô achando realmente que é o Dr. Smith ou o Ramses Nagir, mas eu acho difícil porque o nome dele não bate com PS. Eu acho que deve ser o Tooth. Eu acho que esse Tooth aqui é escrito de outra forma, tipo, deve ser com P. Deve ser um nome bem bizarro. Eu lembro que ele mostrou, tipo, no texto que é bizarro o nome dele, mas eu não decorei o nome quando apareceu no jogo. Pipins não te pega só pra desencargo.
Oh, I'm sure there's nothing on that to concern us, Miss Bow.
Com certeza não.
It's amazing that you can still smell the slight odor of oil paint on this canvas, as if it were painted only a week ago. Perhaps the previous owners took excellent care of the painting to preserve its delicate beauty. Although the paint is old and cracking, the spirit of the artist can still be seen in the bold strokes made by the paintbrush. At close range, you notice the strong smell of oil paint. Despite the age of the paint, the humanoid sculpture is not accurate to the tiniest of details. In fact, you aren't even sure what the details are. Alberto Ravioli was still new at sculpting when he created this particular figure. You magnify the importance of the old master's gallery. The swirling brushstrokes are characteristic of the Morgan school of painting. The cracking of the paint is characteristic. Examining the painting carefully, you notice that some of the strong-smelling paint looks smeared. Examining the painting carefully, you notice that some of the strong-smelling paint looks smeared.
Foi alterada a pintura.
You closely inspect the nudes in Michelangelo's paintings, admiring his studies of the human form. These paintings were completed while he was still learning his trade as the apprentice to a great artist you've probably never heard of.
Tá bom, tem um negócio ali. Ah, gente, é verdade, a gente não veio nessa área.
You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Yvette's office.
Eita. Que aqui? A gente finalmente vai usar o copo.
Thank you for coming to see me, Olympia. This is very nice of you.
You're very welcome, my
É
dear.
Olímpio, né?
What can I do for you?
Oh, you see, I found this strange bone, and I said to myself, Yvette, if anyone can tell you what this is, it would be Olympia.
A bone, you say? How fascinating. Where did you find it?
I found it right here in the museum. Here it is, Doctor.
Now, let me
Que ela tá interessada
see.
em ossos.
Yvette, you silly girl. This is a chicken bone.
It is?
Yes, of course. Why, it is still greasy. You got this at dinner, didn't you?
Oh, you have caught me, Olympia. I was playing the little joke on you.
You are a funny girl, Yvette, but I am quite fond of you.
Olympia, we are the good friends, no? I have the problem I wish to talk to you about.
Oh, certainly. What is it?
Come closer so I can whisper it to you. It is very personal, and I want no one to overhear.
Ixi.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my.
Ah, tá em cima da Olímpio, hein, presumir?
You don't hear. You feel a blush creeping over your face as you look at the perfect body of Rodin's famous thinker.
Calma.
There's a thoughtful-looking gentleman. What does his
Você
plaque
tem
say?
o Henri Carvalho, minha filha.
Claudius, BC 10 to AD 54.
Laura boa.
Enthroned by the Praetorian Guard after the assassination of his odious nephew
Ficando
Caligula,
nervosinha com
Claudius accomplished much for the
uma
empire.
estátua.
Although weak and timid by nature, he proved to be a noble statesman. He built the famous Roman aqueducts and conducted a successful campaign against Britain. His fourth wife murdered him with a poisoned mushroom. She didn't miss him, but the rest of the empire did. Oh dear, he looks somewhat dissipated. Let's read his plaque. Caligula, BC 37 to AD 41. Caligula started out a decent enough chap, but shortly after he became emperor, he was seized with a severe illness which unsettled his reason. Consequently, his name has become a byword for frantic cruelties and insane imaginings. The grotesque atrocities of his reign were ended when he was assassinated by the Praetorian Guard in a grimy tunnel beneath the Colosseum. Nobody missed him either. Oh my, he looks dour. Let's see who he is. Tiberius, BC 42 to AD 37. Tiberius disliked most everyone and practiced the strictest economy with funds devoted to public amusement. Consequently, most everyone disliked him. Although he was perceived by the upper classes as a suspicious, ill-natured tyrant throughout his reign, he ruled the empire with a firm, capable hand, and Rome prospered. He was most probably smothered by his nephew Caligula, although no one is quite sure to this day. Nobody missed him.
Que dó.
What a handsome fellow.
Ninguém
Let's
se
see what the
importa
plaque
com isso, cara.
says. Caesar Augustus, BC 63 to
políticos, né?
AD 14.
É meio
Octavian,
complicado.
great-nephew and adopted son of Julius Caesar, he assumed the name Augustus after his sound defeat of Mark Antony left him supreme master of the Roman world. He was the first of the true Roman emperors, not counting Julius, who didn't live long enough to enjoy the title, and established the Pax Romana throughout the empire. His wife murdered him with a poisoned fig. He was a pretty nice fellow for an emperor, and everybody missed him.
Vamos ver se eu consigo acabar com a festinha aqui dentro.
This door is locked.
Ah, não dá pra acabar com a festinha aí dentro. Pena. Bom, dá pra vir pra baixo e aqui do lado. Vamos salvar aqui. No e o Pippin foi-se. Vamos pra cá. Ixi, que lugar é esse, gente?
The window is too dark to see through. You wonder what's on the other side, but you're almost glad you can't see it.
Acho que lugar bizarro.
Heavy stone masonry. Each block must weigh hundreds of pounds. The window is too dark to see through.
Tá, não dá pra ir pra baixo, só dá pra ir aqui do lado, eu acho. Ou não? Peraí. Ah, acho que é só um enfeite. Tipo uma... não sei. Mas não leva a lugar nenhum. Olha. Eu acho que aqui deve ser o escritório da moça que gosta de corpos. Ó, tem um rato aqui
It's a rat, ready
empanado.
to pounce. Well, he would pounce if he wasn't stuffed. Cy Pembert, a formerly successful flax farmer from Nebraska, apparently strayed from a museum tour many years ago. His remains were later found in a rarely used storage closet. Since he left no known survivors, the museum president decided to keep him on as a permanent staff member. This office is
corpo
now
de
his
verdade.
permanent home.
Bizarro, né?
Assorted skeletal limbs hang
Eles estão
gracefully from the
enforcados aqui em
ceiling.
cima.
The cages are empty now. You can only guess at what they once held. The giant
Animaizinhos
lizards
antes
are
de serem
displaying
empalhados.
some rather uncivilized behavior.
Que é isso? Ixi. Tiro foto disso daqui, não sei. Esse puzzle começa a ficar complicado agora. Não sei, né? Vamos ver, vou tirar foto disso daqui. Não sei se serve pra algo, mas... sei lá, né?
There's an array of rare cockroaches in the display case. It's Dr. Miklos's PhD in paleontology from the University of Thessalonica, Greece. It's Dr. Miklos's double master's degree in paleontology and physical anthropology from the University of Thessalonica, Greece.
É uma
It's
estudiosa.
Dr. Miklos's PhD in physical anthropology from the University of Thessalonica, Greece.
Ah, é grega?
It says Dr. Olympia Miklos, Lifetime Achievement Award from the Society to Protect Misunderstood Inquilines. Thank you, dearest doctor, for helping people to truly appreciate inquilines. You are a true friend of the rat, mouse, pigeon, and cockroach.
É, pena que ela empalha eles, né? Que é isso aqui?
It's an intercom slave unit.
Slave unit?
It's an
Oi?
feels like an intercom slave unit.
Eu não sei o que é isso. Peraí, vamos olhar com mais detalhe.
A magnified intercom slave unit.
Ok. Eu não sei pra que serve isso, mas...
Don't touch it.
que é isso?
The bottle says Dr. Moribund's guaranteed snake oil.
Olho de cobra?
Good evening, Miss Bo.
Oh, you startled me.
Good. It gets the blood flowing, doesn't it?
Well, I suppose so.
I see you were looking at my snake oil.
Well, I was just looking around.
I'm sure you meant no harm.
What's the snake oil for, anyway?
It repels snakes, of course. Comes in handy when I'm working in the basement. I lost a load of Egyptian cobras down there a few weeks ago, and I occasionally come across one of those little darlings.
Shh.
Those snakes always want to bite me, but I'm sure they don't mean anything by it. It's just their way. They get nervous very easily, you know. Normally, I love to watch them kill things. My Barney will kill anything he can sink his
Cobra dela se
teeth
chama Barney.
into.
Parece um nome bem apropriado pra uma cobra.
Well,
Só faltava ela
I'd
ser
love to
roxa
chat some more,
e
but
cantar
I've got
musiquinha e
to rush off
dançar.
and meet that young Steve fellow. He promised to show me his scars. See you later.
Steve? Quem que é o Steve? É o Steve Dorian? É o meu namorado? A mulher tá roubando meu namorado, é isso? Então tá bom. Ela roubou... Então, pelo visto, vai ter algum puzzle com essa cobra, pelo visto, né?
The skull of the long-extinct horned rhesus, known in academic circles to be the source of much controversy regarding it as evidence for the extraterrestrial origin of primate evolution. The skull is amazingly well...
Olha a carinha dela.
It's Barney, Olympia's pet cobra.
A carinha dela, que bonitinha. Vamos
You
olhar bem.
decide that's probably...
Se eu tocar nela, acho que eu vou morrer se eu tocar nela. Melhor não fazer isso. Tá, não sei pra quê.
It's a rat, ready to...
Ah,
What
tá
an
muito.
interesting array of books. Some of the titles include hide preservation techniques, the care and feeding of domestic beetles, how to raise and train rats, modern bone scraping, know your roadkill, and millipedes as household pets.
Acho que essa mulher não trata muito bem os animaizinhos dela. Só tenho uma pequena impressão de que ela não
Dr.
trata muito
Miklos
bem.
has many scholarly texts. You see titles such as Common Bone Disorders of Jackals, Parker's Annotated Encyclopedia of Decay, Know Your Fractures, Mummification Techniques, Advanced Dental Identification,
Decomposição
and
de asa.
Decomposition from A to Z.
Oi?
Dr. Miklos's... It looks like real...
Eu ainda não sei pra que serve
A
isso aqui.
magnified
Intercorn.
intercom slave unit.
Intercorn. Que isso? Deixa eu ver. Gente, eu não faço a menor ideia do que é isso. Mas parece que é um tipo de telefone. Ele tem um nome muito estranho. Escravo, estranho, né? Talvez seja um telefone interno, tipo de ligação interna apenas, mas nossa, muito estranho. Bom, tá, não é nada muito... Eu não sei por que a gente pode ver. Será que a gente pode tocar isso aqui?
Feels like an...
Não sei. E eu não sei por que a gente queria aquele olho.
A magnificent view.
Talvez a gente descubra
Luxurious
eventualmente.
velvet drapes adorn the windows. They look like they would effectively...
É, eles parecem bem densos, bem grossos. Bom, então ela saiu daqui, né? É. Exato, ela foi pra cá. Por que ela foi pra cá? Ah, uma passagem secreta? Por isso que fez esse barulho? Deixa eu só ver. É, eu acho que é uma passagem secreta.
Heavy stone... Looks aren't... The window is too dark to... Looks aren't ever...
Eu acho que é uma passagem secreta isso daqui. Ah, aqui, ó. Tem uma porta. Ah, aqui, ó.
Up close, you're able to verify that these are big stone... The seam in the bricks is very deep. The draft from the seam ruffles your hair as you examine the rough bricks.
Uhum. É, tem uma porta aqui
Up
escondida.
close, you're able to verify up the seam in the brick.
Aqui, ó. É... Interessante. Então a doutora, pelo visto, também está envolvida. Talvez todos estejam envolvidos. Será que aconteceu aqui nessa sala, hein?
A paper cutter with a sharp blade. It's a diploma with Yvette Delacroix's name on it. An advanced degree in French from Ball State University, to be exact.
Ela não é muito estudada como a doutora, né, pelo visto.
One of those new portable typewriters. At a mere £50, you can take it anywhere.
Uau!
Well, you could if it
Levinho,
was useful to
levíssimo.
you, which it isn't, so forget it.
Tem algo no lixo? Ah,
A used piece of...
sempre tem algo no lixo.
You pick it up and place it in your purse.
Que dá pra fazer isso? Eu não sei. Alguma utilidade deve ter, né?
Look. Everything on the desk is neatly organized. The edges of the desk are shiny, as if someone leans on them a lot. It's a desk.
O que ele tá querendo
It's a
dizer?
desk chair. A matched pair of crossed battle axes left over from this room's previous occupant. There's a homey old Norwegian phrase stitched into this needlepoint. An axe in the hand is worth two in the bush. Words to live by. You don't need to type anything. Since it's just a slave intercom unit, it has no buttons and can only receive messages.
Ele é um... Ah, tá. Só recebe mensagens.
Watercolor painting.
É, tecnologia das antigas que eu nem faço ideia.
1924.
Ela era pintora?
Watercolor painting. Perverse Pleasures by Yvette Delacroix, 1926. Watercolor painting. Predators Stalking Prey by Yvette Delacroix, 1925.
Deixa eu dizer que ela é
Watercolor
meio
painting. Purple
dark.
Pollywogs.
Que é?
Watercolor
Purple
painting.
Pollywogs.
Pollywogs.
Que Pollywogs? Não faço ideia.
It's a Venus flytrap. It's a transom.
Transom.
The file label reads, Life Mask Field Survey.
Me fala que dá pra ver
The file
todos.
label reads,
Pish, pior que dá pra ver todos.
The file label reads, Insurance. The file label reads, the file label reads, the file label, the file label reads, my, the file label reads, the file label reads, the file label reads,
Chat
the
things.
file label reads, the file label reads, the file label reads, the file label reads, the file label.
E esse aqui?
The wood
Interessante, né?
file drawer is locked. Yvette is the only person who can open it.
Ela não vai abrir,
The
com
surface of the
certeza.
desk is very clean, as if it's dust. They're too high on the wall. Besides, you have no use for them.
E essa porta vai pra
It's the door
onde?
to President Carrington.
Nossa, então é fácil, né? Eles terem relações nessa mesa. Tá aí esse papel.
Used carbon. The carbon paper crinkles when you touch it. Backlit, you can read the words typed into the carbon paper. Ernie, Big Al called to see if you could do some fencing for him next week. He says he'll make it worth your while to do a fast fencing job.
Big Al.